Hey Kevin, it's Rob. How are you? You know who you are. But anyway, guys, there's a common misconception. I get this a lot, and I've done a lot to of videos describing the exotic car rental industry, and probably one of the common misconceptions that it's just really easy. It's like, oh yeah, I buy a car for $200,000, I rent it out for $1,000 a day for 365 days, I make $365,000. Easy as that, right? It doesn't really work like that. And I was thinking about doing a series of business videos, and you tell me if you want to see them or not. But I get a lot of business requests and essentially like people asking for free consulting work, which I don't mind doing. And I may do so. I'll just highlight your business. I'll highlight the specific challenges of your business and what I'm suggesting and why it makes sense. I like shows like Shark Tank because it makes people think differently than they normally think. You're forced, whether they know it or not, you're forced to think differently as to the value of something or the utilization or what encompasses a business that you wouldn't normally think of. Like, oh yeah, it's a hot dog stand. All you need is a hot dog stand. No, you got to pay for your rent because that cart, yeah, cart costs 25 grand. Hot dogs cost 30 cents a piece. But parking your cart on the street and having a vendor's license to do that may cost you $6,000 a month. So that's a lot of hot dogs just to cover your rent. But we'll get to that. So let me fill you in on Mr. Kevin. I've redacted his information and my personal email address because I don't know why it's even on here. But I'm going to read this and I'll step you through it, and hopefully this helps explain the exotic car rental business a little bit better. Attention, Mr. Ferretti. Congratulations on your success with the business and your amazing collection of cars. The purpose of this email is I am looking to start an exotic car rental business in the Atlanta area that will have a monthly revenue income of approximately $388,650. See below. You know what? Let's start there. He then has a sheet here, a list here of the cars that he's going to have: a Lamborghini Aventador, Rolls-Royce Wraith, Lamborghini Urus, Ferrari 488, Bentley Bentayga, McLaren 720S, Lamborghini Huracan, Rolls-Royce Ghost, and Rolls-Royce Ghost, two Ghosts. And then he breaks it down by the daily rate and the weekly rate, the monthly rate, and the yearly revenue, assuming that the car goes out 365 days a year. So there's going to be your first problem. And then he says, I'm looking to have an inventory of 9 vehicles. Each of these vehicles has been strategically selected due to their demand as well as their daily rental rate. So I'm not going to put numbers on how much it costs to acquire these vehicles yet, because he's just thinking very simply. He's 3 steps away from even thinking about putting together a reasonable business plan. And this is not to make fun of Kevin. That's why I redact his name and everything like that. This is a learning experience because a lot of people are coming at this from the same angle and they just think it sounds really easy. And this just happens to be something where he's asking me to invest in this company. But let me just explain. He's now estimating an approximate monthly revenue of $388,000 by taking the daily rate of the cars, which is a reasonable daily rate, and making assumptions. The assumption 1 is that his utilization will be 100%, that these cars are going to be back to back, that one customer is going to pull in, another customer is going to get in and drive it away, and that's going to happen 365 days a year. No downtime for service, no downtime for maintenance, no downtime for car washes. The stream of customers is so plentiful that he's having trouble keeping up with the demand. That's what 100% utilization looks like, and I'll be honest with you, it's not possible. That's a utopian business theory that you're going to have so much business that you're just going to sit there and ring the cash register, and you can keep that. That's scalable when you can do that. That's sort of what Apple does. You got a line of customers. Most businesses do not start out with a line of customers and never develop a line of customers, because then you keep adding more cars to satisfy that demand. So utilization never hits 100% on anything. Now, he took the full daily rate, and he's also making the assumption that he's going to receive the full daily rate every day, as if it was a one-day rental is going to generate the same as a monthly rental. If somebody rents a car for a month, yes, you have better utilization, but your cost per day is going to go down. You're not going to get $2,000 a day for an Aventador on average. You have to take the average daily rental rate, because maybe some guy calls it up and says, like, I want to take it and do less miles, or like it's last minute, it's wintertime. You guys want a great idea. If you want an exotic car from an exotic car rental place, go in the off season. And like my cars right now, the New York cars, you want a car, they're a lot cheaper now in the winter than you'll be able to get them in the spring, summer. So you want to drive an AMG GT for a week, it'll probably cost you $2,500 versus in the summer, that's going to cost you $6,000 or $7,000. So check out GothamDreamCars.com. That's a shameless plug. Especially February, March. If you want a car in February, March, there's a good amount of rentals out now, but it is the best time to get a good deal. And obviously last minute's pretty easy because you can watch the weather, and if you get a good deal and you want to experience a car, now is the time to do it at a discount. He then goes in, so those are two terrible assumptions. He then goes in and says, Atlanta's a metropolis that encompasses Fortune 100 and 500 companies and a leader in industries such as music, movie, professional sports, real estate, lifestyle management, entrepreneurial, and home. To the busiest airport in the world, Atlanta does not have an exotic car rental company, and this is a valuable void that needs to be filled. Now, you have to ask yourself, a lot of people want to enter a market because they think there's just a lot of money or a lot of rich people there. But they don't ask themselves, if there is a void, if there isn't a company that exists there, why is that? Have there been companies that have tried and failed? If they have, why have they failed? What are you going to do differently that they weren't able to do? And a lot of people go into this thinking that it's so easy, and it's just not. And you have to do market research. I don't think Atlanta is a primary market. New York, LA, Miami, Vegas, probably the only 4 primary markets, and even Vegas is a tough one because there's so many wild cards in Vegas, but New York, LA, Miami are the only 3 sustainable long-term, if you look at the industry, are the only 3 sustainable long-term locations for exotic car rentals. Now, there's some secondary markets, Chicago, Dallas, San Francisco, Vegas, not really Orlando, but Atlanta, I would say, is a secondary or tertiary market. But there's a lot of markets that everyone's like, oh yeah, and I get this all the time. Hey, I'm up in Buffalo, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of rich people up here, and there's just no market in Buffalo. I get this from Canada, from Minneapolis. I mean, I'm thinking of all these cities that people swear by, that they think they see so much money, and that means there's a market for it. If you don't have at least like 10 5-star hotels in your city, you're probably wasting your time. So if you're not looking at Ritz-Carltons and Four Seasons and all these other big hotels that people are coming in and spending $800 a night to stay at, the market doesn't support a full-time exotic car rental company. It may be a market that you want to service. You may be able to get a small operation up in the air, but it's not a primary location. So another assumption, money does not equal sustainability for an exotic car rental company. There are a few smaller companies in the Atlanta area, but due to the incorrect inventory, lack of a strong network, lack of the right marketing techniques and outlets, and failing to target other profitable industries outside of music, are the main reasons that these businesses are not seeing the revenue potential they should. These areas I understand the depths, and I understand in depth and will capitalize off of. Well, here would be my suggestion to you, Kevin. If you know this so much better than them, you should probably get a job working at one of these companies, because a good way to make a lot of money in this world is to provide value. And if you go to a company and you provide value and you generate a lot of revenue, they will give you a lot of money. And that's eliminating your risk, because now you're not carrying any of the risk. You're not shouldering the overhead. And you just said there's nobody servicing the area, and then you say there's a bunch of small companies that aren't doing very well. So you gotta be clear about that. Then he goes on to say 2 similar companies in Las Vegas and Miami have a monthly revenue of $500,000 with competition in the same cities. I don't know how you know people's monthly revenue, because and nobody's running 9 cars and doing a monthly revenue of $500,000. That's $6 million a year in revenue off of 9 cars. Doesn't exist. Sorry. And like, even when you do see, like, the industry is so sketchy, just because you see somebody's books, if it's not a set of reviewed financials or audited financials, it's pretty much garbage anyway, because now you're taking a dude's word for it. As you are in the industry yourself, you know the revenue potential. And I know the revenue potential. That's why I know that what you're telling me, you can't go to an industry guy who knows what he's talking about and then try to tell him, like, all you're going to do is if somebody buys this, then you're talking to an idiot. The number is some typos, sorry. The number is more. The number or more is very attainable from Atlanta when the inventory grows. I am looking to raise $2 million with an ROI of approximately $4.6 million in the first year. That $4.6 million estimate is based off of him getting the 9 cars and the 9 cars going out 365 days a year and generating full rental rate. That's how he came up with the revenue of $4.663.8 million. This would be a great business venture to add to your Gotham Dream Cars. See the below breakdown. And then he comes up with rental requirements, which are just, you can pull off of everybody's website because everybody has a very similar thing. But even his rental requirements are not very good. 25 to rent, that excludes drivers. I don't know what percentage of my customers are under 25, but I would say my minimum rental age is 21. And I would say I probably have 5% of my customers, maybe 10%, 5 or 10% of my customers may be under 25, and you don't want to get rid of that market segment because it's valuable. A valid driver's license, everybody needs one. Driver's background check, okay, I do those, but that's just a license check, not a background check. A background check is like criminal history and much more in depth. It's probably overreaching what you should be doing to safeguard your stuff. Credit score check, you don't do that. As long as somebody has a credit card, a valid credit card in their name, you take it. Deposit, see below, he's got the deposit amount for each car. Additional deposit if he's under 25. So now you're saying you will take somebody under 25, you'll just take an additional deposit. Driver's insurance or pay for the extra company insurance. Well, not a lot of people offer extra company insurance because it's not really something that a company underwrites. So you should probably do your homework there before just making the assumption. Your deposits, you're including 100 miles per day per, it's weird, like you're running a $15,000 deposit on the on the Lamborghini Aventador, and that's very prohibitive. Now you're asking somebody, they need essentially $20,000 in a credit card to rent it. There goes half your customer base. Who's going to come in with a $20,000 in available credit? That is overshooting it. The Rolls-Royce Ghost with a $10,000 security deposit, but a Rolls-Royce Wraith, which is a more expensive car, that's a $5,000 deposit. I mean, it's just stuff that you have to think through. The marketing, you suggest the company Instagram account, website for validity, of course, because everything with a website is valid. Word of mouth, strategic partnerships, the Billionaires Club, another exotic vehicle Instagram accounts. Marketing collateral and email marketing. Now, marketing, I can't knock you on the marketing end because marketing is an imperfect science. So anyone that says they have the secret to marketing is full of shit, and you have to find out what works for you. So I'm not going to dig at any of those. The industries you're looking to fulfill, obviously, whatever. And then your year one revenue you have as broken down as approximate monthly revenue of $388, as we covered, and a yearly revenue of $4.663 million. And then I get 50% of it. I'm assuming you're asking me to give you the $2 million, or at least a good percentage of it, or at least $1 million. And you're saying that I'm going to get $2.331 million in return in year one. That's with all your assumptions, assuming everything comes through. Now, here's why you can't do that. Let's just assume you're the best businessman ever, right? You have to take costs out. Like, just if you do $4 million in credit card, or whatever, $4.6 million in credit card processing, 3% of that goes to the credit card companies. Already, 3%. So you're already taking, what, 120, 130, whatever, say $140,000 of that money, and that goes to credit card processing. That's just the way it is. And you can't give me half of that if you've already, this doesn't make any sense. You're giving 20% to another auto rental company, which is $932,000, and then you're getting 30%, which is $1.4 million. Now, that doesn't make any sense. You can't just take gross revenue and divide it up. You have a cost structure. Where are you getting $2 million isn't even enough to buy all these cars. So it's not paying $1 of labor. It's not paying any insurance. It's not funding one of the cars. It's got nothing to do. You have to look at somebody's balance sheet and see where the money goes, and you have to set a budget. And that's how you go about doing this. You can't just blindly say, we're going to generate $5 million, and I'm going to give you $2.5 million. I'm going to keep 1.5, and I'll give this guy $1 million, because that doesn't make any sense. Who's responsible for any of this stuff? And then you break down your budget as vehicle financing, small office space, office equipment, customer relations management software. I mean, you list out a bunch of stuff. But Kevin, you are 5 steps away from putting together a business plan, or a coherent business plan, let alone looking for an investment. So I'm going to do a series. There's two things I'm going to do. One, if you guys enjoy the idea of me highlighting certain businesses that people approach me about, dissecting them, picking them apart a little bit, and showing how they can grow and improve, I'm happy to do that if you want that business aspect of the channel. And then 2, I'm going to do just a series, and it may go on Skillshare. It may just be something that I put on my channel that steps you through the process of coming up with an idea, testing its viability, funding it, forming it, divvying up equity, how to do stuff like that, and then building and growing and scaling a business all the way through sale. And when I say through sale, running a business, establishing a value for your business because you have a business, assuming it will be successful, and then what it would ultimately be worth to sell it and move on to the next one. So I'll probably do that in the next, I don't know, I'm not going to have time in the next month or so, but that's on my list of videos that I want to do. But Mr. Kevin, thank you for the email. This was, it was actually like a fairly well put together email. Obviously, this isn't the usual, like, oh, I want to start an exotic car rental company. Can you tell me how to do it, or just give me a couple $1,000,000? This was a lot more thought out. It shows that there is something there. I mean, you have slight capabilities, but I would assume that Mr. Kevin is pretty young. Or if he's not pretty young, he's got a lot to learn about business. And I'm happy to help, and I'm happy to teach, and that's why I'm making this video. But the exotic car rental industry, I mean, utilization rates, average daily rentals, cost structure, all of this stuff has to be factored in. And that's the same with any business. But these assumptions are all wrong, and that's why your proposal for me to invest in your business is unfortunately going to be denied at this point in time. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. For those of you not familiar with my other company, I started a company called Adventure Drives, which combines driving and bucket list travel. So it's a lot of fun. Our next trip is up to the Northern Lights in Iceland at the end of February. We're going to be doing snowmobiling on glaciers, off-roading, taking a dip in the Blue Lagoon, and drinking whiskey until we're silly. So that's going to be a lot of fun. After that, we're off to Europe for a trip in July. If you're interested, prices can be done per person. It starts at about $3,000 per person for Iceland. Don't worry, if you don't have somebody to go with you, we can match you up with somebody. You can check the link in the description for adventuredrives.com and sign up today.